Hey everyone, this is Josh Jones, the owner of AGL Discs, coming to you live with the Zen Disc Golf crew. And yeah, we're going to bring you the best podcast ever.
Friends, and welcome to Season 3, Episode 14 of the Zen Disc Golf Podcast. I am your host, Patrick McCormick, the author of 3 disc golf books, Zen and the Art of Disc Golf, Discs and Zen, and Disc Golf Strategies and Tactics. So I've got a great show for you today. I'm talking to Josh Jones of Above Ground Level, sometimes referred to as AGL Discs. AGL is a family-run business whose business model revolves around their customers and their team. And they set themselves apart from the competition by their attention to detail and just going above and beyond for their customer experience. But because I love this company, I love these discs, I'm giving away 2 discs from AGL. The first is a black Ponderosa putter. It's still sealed in the plastic, direct from the AGL warehouse. That's the first one I'm giving away. It even has the seed in it still. You'll learn about more of that in our podcast today. And a clearish white or clear whitish Sycamore fairway driver. So all you got to do is subscribe to this podcast on YouTube and make a comment about anything that Josh and I talk about on this podcast. There will be 2 winners. One disc will go to one winner and one disc will go to the other winner. I'll be announcing the winner on March 30th, 2021, for all those you listening or watching in 2031. And it's super easy. Like I said, all you got to do is subscribe on YouTube to this show, make a comment about something we talk about. Why don't we go ahead and get started, though? Folks, I give you Josh Jones of AGL Discs. Josh, how are you this evening?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Patrick?
I'm doing so great, and I'm so happy that we could have you on. We've been talking for a couple months now about getting this thing going. And, after speaking to you several times, I learned that possibly you're one of the hardest working people in disc golf right now. But there's a balance to that because you're somehow able to maintain a personal relationship with all of your customers. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I have 2 phones myself, but, all the different avenues in which we do communication with our folks. I mean, Instagram, Facebook, there's the Facebook, profile page, the Facebook business page. I think we have 3 emails for, the company right now, a sales and info, and then just kind of my, AGL personal one. And then we have the Shopify has a communication, messenger program that, goes out and, as soon as people order and as soon as people, have their deliveries, packed up and shipped, and also when it gets delivered. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. And I think, Instagram on top of that now, TikTok, it's nonstop. So I owe a lot of thanks to the team and to folks like Sam. Sam's our head of marketing. Sam owns Chain Bang as well, but he's an amazing person and a huge help to the company for sure.
I think I've communicated with you at least 4 or 5 of those channels. Some new ones I never communicated with anyone before because I think you called me through Facebook Messenger and it took me like 5 minutes to figure out how to get that thing to work.
Yeah, I gotta do them all. So it's a lot. I think right now I'm logged out of the Shopify one, so I got to figure out how to get back into that one because we got a new laptop down at the new warehouse. So I have to log in on that one, and it's been fun trying to figure that out. So
no.
Yeah.
So my listeners actually requested to have you on the show. And
cool.
Yes. And it might have been somebody from Chain Bang. I'm not really sure.
Okay.
But yeah, they said have Josh from AGL on, and I wrote back and I said, okay, tell me why I should have you on. Just give me a couple bullet points. And they said, well, he has a unique business model, great product, and just down to earth, family run business. And I said, okay, let's do it. And I reached out to you. But I honestly hadn't heard too much about AGL, I would say, until last year. Then when I started talking to you, you sent me some discs, and I can see why you have a cult following based on your customer service, your personality, your business model, and the quality of plastic that you're producing.
Well, thank you, first of all. I mean, that's huge. So I'm sure coming from you and how long you've been in it, that's a huge compliment. So thank you very much. I think the biggest part of AGL is that, I don't do much. I'm just joking. I do a lot, obviously, but the decisions are not necessarily made by me. I do a lot of the work, sure, and pay a lot of the bills, sure. But ultimately, we let the team kind of decide on first off who's going to be on the team. They're a huge, part of that, and the captains are the ones who make those final calls. I might make a recommendation here or there, but ultimately it's on them. And they've even not gone on some of my recommendations, and that's fine too. I mean, it's really coming down to them. And I was talking with someone else yesterday about how, I don't even name any of the discs. I've never named any AGL disc.
Wow.
We actually let our teammates name them, or our collab partners like Sam, before he even became a part owner in AGL. We let Sam name one of the discs, and that's how that relationship kind of just, blossomed. So it was cool. It was cool. And I think, that aspect of really being team oriented and player focused, I let them come up with the names for the disc, but it's also like, hey, what do you guys think we should make next? Should we do like a overstable mid? Should we do an understable mid? I mean, whatever they want to do, I let them kind of help guide the direction of where we think AGL should go. And I think that's probably the biggest reason why we've been as successful as we have been. The other aspect is I haven't taken a penny, I haven't taken a dime. So all the work that I put in, and any money that we get back, profit or not, it goes right back into the company. And I think that's another thing that people see. They've seen the growth from a one disc golf rack in my living room to now having a giant warehouse, and it's insane. So truly thankful and truly blessed, to be in the position that I'm in. To have my family, they're right out there, in the living room. But, we all went to work together. My wife's picking out the disc for people. She loves doing that. And, Ava's packing the seeds and putting the disc in the bag. And, I'm taping up the box and slapping the label on there. And Ava does her little pack by Ava. And, all of us touch it. We all make sure usually. And we have a mistake here and there. It happens, out of, I think the other day we did 113 orders in a day, and it was crazy because we had two little mistakes. But and we're human. So I admit that, and I think people can relate to that resonates with people, that
Sure.
we admit that, and then we just go above ground level. We go above and beyond ground level, in regards to taking care of that customer and righting that wrong, and fixing that mistake or whatever it is. And half the time, if I got an email and they're like, hey Josh, I ordered 2 discs and I only got 1, if that ever happened, I'm like replying in an email saying, hey, check your email. You already have another email before this email saying you got one on the way, and that's how I try to operate. And because mistakes are going to happen, especially when someone like myself being pulled in a lot of different directions, not just AGL. This is one of 2 other companies I run. So I am a busy
Wow.
dude. Yeah. My health issues, my wife's health issues, especially with what she's going through lately. She had a head injury, but at work. So she had to deal with workers' comp and disability and stuff. So she's still able to, pick a disc out. That's not too much, but like when she's at a computer screen, she gets a migraine and she can't stand up for too long. So we got her a little rolling cart, a little padded cart, like at the doctor's office. So she rolls around that and picking stuff out. But we work really hard, I think, for our customers. Ava, she loves it, man. She really, there's no push to make her do anything. She wants to do it. I think everyone
we can
see it.
tell. We
Yeah.
can see it, and that's so great.
Yeah, she's awesome, man. I'm so thankful for her. And she's such a happy kid. She sleeps well, she eats well, like veggies and everything. So I'm thankful, man. And she loves disc golf. So I think that was also another fuel to the fire of like, let's keep going with this disc golf business. It was a side thing that we were having fun with and doing, but for it to turn into something that could potentially be the end all be all for my family's financial means, and let alone take care of Ava later on in life, so she doesn't have to deal with the same struggles that I did, had to growing up here in the Bay Area, California.
Tell me about the humble beginnings of AGL.
Yeah. So I mean, it first started off. We were actually under a different name. It was Disc Flickers, and hence I still have that as one of my emails. Discflickers@gmail.com. I think that's all over the website, and everybody has that one. But the thing was is that we were doing our logo stamped on something, and dynamic. We have Gateway. So there were a few manufacturers that we worked with, and this is going back 2010, 2011. And then Ava was born in 2012, so we took like probably a little hiatus around there. And we had just got a house in Seaside, Monterey. And at that time, it was probably like 2013, maybe just before the beginning of 2014, maybe. And I was working as a manager at an enterprise rental car, and it was at the Monterey Airport. And it was right around the same time that this happened, on Instagram, when we were using the name Disc Flickers, and on one of the disc, it was written out Disc Flickers, and someone had used dye and acetone and changed it to say something with some profanity on there.
I can only imagine. I mean, because
Yes.
everybody does it to their Discraft flick disc.
Yes, exactly. So it was that scenario, but so it kind of was a slap in the face almost, and it was like, wow, we got to change the name. When I was working at the airport, I heard over the radio, and it was like, breaker coming, 30,000 feet above ground level, and I was like, ding, and
Nice. I love
yeah,
that. What a
that
great
was
story.
well, that was the only name I've ever named was above ground level. And at first, dude, we were gonna go like plane names, like B-52 bomber. Like we had a whole like line out. I had a graphic designer. I paid for all this stuff and threw that in the garbage. Because then you start seeing a couple other companies, and they have things that could be plane oriented or flying objects. I'm not trying to name any names, so we'll just leave it at that. But I think I did my research, and that's the point. And it was my wife and I were talking, and my wife is actually the one, credit to her, who was the one who came up with the idea for trees. And it was like, well, disc golf, all these trees, they're above ground level. We're throwing our frisbees and discs above ground level, so boom, why not? And her and Ava, we were all family meeting, we do those. And, it just kind of, boom, dawned on us again of like, hey, if we name each one of our discs after a tree, then we could like send out a tree seed with it. And, then we've seen other people turn into environmental restoration, and it's turned into so much other fun, and people are trying to grow them and grow the whole lineup now. And that's so cool. So we're working on getting like directions on how to grow and germination and whatnot on the website too. So one of the teammates, he's actually got a lot of stuff ready for that. So I just got to incorporate that into the website. But I mean, there's so much potential, for us in that aspect, because nobody's doing trees. I think, there's thousands of species of trees. So the possibilities are endless in regards to the molds. And yeah, it just rings true to what we do. And I think now with what you said, that cult following, almost, it's like, hey, Sam, I think he put up a joke meme, and it was like, hey, our discs are friends because they're named after trees, and they won't hit a tree. And it was pretty funny. So yeah. So,
And you've also made the above ground kind of a part of your philosophy. I've seen you use it. Hey, let's keep things above ground, that kind of thing. How does that
yeah.
fit into your philosophy of doing business and customer relations?
I think it just rings true to everything that we do. And the different aspects of what we started doing, I started to appreciate, and they would resonate in different scenarios. And, the planting of a tree, I started to realize that it's such a selfless act. When you're not going to Home Depot and buying a pre-made, 3 foot tall sapling. If you're talking about planting a tree seed, from seed, it's a selfless act. Like, you're not going to sit under that tree and enjoy its shade and play under that tree. It's not for you. It's for the next generation. So I think that was something too that really resonated because of my health issues and my wife's health issues, and what we're doing and not taking a penny out of it yet is because it's all this plan is to just take care of Ava, and we're planting a tree for Ava so that way she can hang out under its shade and enjoy its shade, and not have to struggle the same way, like I said, like I did. So I think that really rings true, and our customer service, it definitely, like I said earlier, I go above ground level
Yeah.
to take care of our customers. So yeah, it really rings true, and it really hits home. I think resonates, is a great word, with a lot of people, and I think they see that, and they see our family aspect, and the fact that we're so honest and truthful. I'll go on to Facebook and be like, hey everyone, this is where I'm at right now, and I was crying all day today because of this, and I'm human, so like I have no
Sure.
problem doing that, and that's probably because of my previous work and experience and stuff as a manager. I think that as a dad now too, one thing that I'm good at is seeing what other people are good at, and I'm not good at a lot of stuff. I'll tell you that. I can take my ego hat off, but I'm good at seeing what other people are good at, and like nurturing that, developing that, encouraging that,
Some would
and
call
then,
that leadership.
well, yeah, maybe I just want that person to do well. And when that person does well, and you see someone that you've helped or trained or tutored or whatever, that you've encouraged, and you see them and that sense of accomplishment that they develop, whether it's just Ava hitting a 5 foot putt, that joy that you see from her, that is, you can't trade that for anything in the world. So I love that. I thrive on that, and I want to do that for everybody. And it's like, that's why I try to as well. I answer as many questions and comments. I'm up at 1 a.m. like, hey man, how's it going? And I'll at least every single day I probably talk to at least one or two random people where it's like they never knew about AGL. They didn't know about me or anything. They knew about disc golf. They found out about us some way, and then they didn't know. Oh, hey, this is the owner. What? I'm talking to the owner right now. Yeah, dude, that's me. You called me, you text me. That's me. And any questions? What's up? I'm always here. So I think that tangibility too is lost sometimes with some of the larger companies. I'm not talking smack or anything, but that that tangibility to the customer service. I think people know that, I'm literally stamping or putting their disc in a box. I mean, I'm the one doing it. So I think people can relate to that, and they respect and appreciate that. And especially when they know that I'm not over here like rolling in a Lamborghini, you know what I'm saying? And, I'm not decked out and, stuff like that. So, I mean, we don't, this isn't a lucrative thing. Obviously, if anyone's trying to sell stuff with disc golf, I think it's not like hand over fist money. It's you got to work for it.
So
um you
with
know
that being said, what made you jump in the disc game and say, I'm going to, and I know that you're probably going to say, well, I'm not trying to compete, but you are. I mean,
oh
your
yeah,
discs are out
I
there.
am.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I am. No, I think it's great to bring competition in business. I mean, I talked to a couple other manufacturers, and they were shocked that we're, infiltrating the West Coast, and oh my God, we haven't had success tapping into the West Coast market. And I was like, I don't know, I'm just doing my thing, like I think, there's nothing wrong with that. I think there's, I joke because to me, yeah, I'm down to compete, but the thing is, really there's not a whole lot of competition because there's so many pieces to this gigantic pie that we're all eating at. I'm fine with a couple of those crumbs, man, honestly. Like those
That's where I
crumbs
am.
definitely feed my whole family. If if things keep going the way they're going, and my goal is at the end of 2021, Sam and I, we're going to restructure the corporation agreement, so that way we can pay ourselves a small percentage of those profits. And that's probably not even going to be enough to overhead of my own house and family and food and gas and just bills. So I mean, we're still gonna have to do what we do on the side as well. My wife, she typically is working full time. She's been able to help out a little bit with AGL and whatnot, but she's trying to do some with sewing, and we got the Cricut machine to print vinyl, and to make our own decals and iron-ons, and I got the heat press machine. So we got a wholesale account with some shirt vendors. So I mean, we're trying to spread ourselves as much as possible, and like I said, put the money back in,
Sure.
so that way we can keep more and more things in house. I just had a meeting with Husky Injection Molding, and we're looking at our own plastic injection molding machine. So
Nice.
that's my other goal for the end of the year, hopefully.
And I picked up on something while you were talking, this whole idea of the tree planting and you not necessarily reaping the benefits, but it reaping down the line. That's exactly what you're talking about with what you're doing with your business. You're planting a seed so that Ava can reap the benefits down
Yeah.
the line. You say, I'm
Yes.
not taking anything from the business right now. So
Yeah.
there's that metaphor is serving your family as well. And it's also the reason I think that you're growing, like you said, on the West Coast, because it has a grassroots effect.
Yeah.
And people love, made in America, grassroots. It's coming up. Everything comes from your team and then comes to you. So
Yeah.
your business model is very unique, but it's working for you.
I think so. I mean, up until maybe a month ago, we were even still doing single disc orders in a cardboard box. And right now it's still an option. I mean, you can do that, but you can also choose the economy, like $4 something one, and get the mailer for a single disc order. But we're trying to be as, I tell my wife, when every now and then when I'm over at the stamp machine stamping someone's orders and she's filling, in for me, taping a box, she's like, hey, should I do this or this? And I'm like, just think about how you would want that box to come to you, and we go like, because I'll spend a lot more probably than most other packaging companies, not even talking disc golf manufacturers. But I mean, besides Amazon, where you get the little thing in this huge
Yeah.
box. I mean, besides that, but we really try to care about that. I was a manager at FedEx office and UPS, probably between the two, for like 8 years. So
Hmm.
packaging and distribution, are important to me, and I think, like, I don't know if you had ever noticed something about the way that we ship. um, well, here I'll put a little asterisk in it, and you don't have to edit any of this out. I'm just being honest. So when we moved into our new warehouse, we have a mail center. So I get to drop all my stuff off there, and the post office comes and picks stuff up at the end of the day. Sometimes before 5, which is not always the best. So I got to try to like see if he's out there. But anyways, um, up until we got into this warehouse, Patrick, I swear to God, I mean, you could see on our Instagram and our Facebook, we were loading up my Prius.
Oh yeah.
And
I've
we were
seen it.
taking stuff down to the post office every day, but we weren't just going to the post office that's close to our house, or the post office that was close to the warehouse, right? Or our storage unit back then. We were going to the post office that's in San Jose, that's the distribution hub.
Mm.
So the reason why we did that was because it saved the customer that extra day of shipping. Because
Yeah.
rather than go down to the street one and then they have to sort it, and okay, this is going to the San Jose distribution hub, and this one has to go over to the one over here to Monterey because it's going over to Florida or something, whatever it is. Um, we took it right to the distribution hub. So 9 out of 10 times when we dropped our stuff off, it was literally going on a plane that night. And that's why some people are like, dude, I ordered it Tuesday. It said it was going to be here Friday. It was here Wednesday, and you're like, what the?
Streamlined.
Yeah. So, I mean, we tried to really go that extra mile for our customers. And, now it's just, we're getting so many dang orders that I can't even use the Prius. It's filling it up.
Yeah, and moving to the warehouse, that's been within past couple weeks. Congratulations on that.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's huge. I think it was March 1st or 2nd that we officially had it going. We didn't even have power in there on until like the 8th. So it hasn't been long. It hasn't been long. So
But that's definitely a sign that your tree is growing.
yeah. Yeah, dude, it's been amazing. And we're also Sam and I are working together. All of his inventory is at our warehouse now too. So that way distribution is all out of one, spot for both his and my company. Which has been, really, really helpful for both he and I. So yeah, and now we can do appointments. You could swing on by. We can do retail and come on by. You can hand pick your discs, and I don't think besides Santa Cruz that you can come and literally like pick out your own disc in close, in the Bay Area. So that's pretty cool,
Absolutely. And, going back to what you were saying before about, packaging and everything, asking if I noticed, I definitely noticed. And I wanted to sort of do an unboxing with you so other
Uh-oh.
people can be a part of that experience. And of course, I've opened this box
Yeah.
before. I've been throwing these things.
Okay.
But I think this is important because this is part of sort of your business model. And I think people need to see it. But before I do that, I've always loved when manufacturers, businesses pay close attention to the experience of purchasing the product from the time you buy it to the time you pull it out of the box. Like, for example, Apple's big on that. It's an
Yeah, for sure.
experience when you open it up and you're just like, oh, this is so great. Well, when this shows up on your doorstep, you have the box. I need to move my screen so I can see it just a little bit so I can see what I'm showing you guys. There we go. You have the box. It's sitting on your doorstep. You know this came from AGL. Sticker on the box. That's the first part of the experience. You're like, oh, cool. Well, that took an extra step,
Yeah.
And then I opened my box, and I don't know if this is in everybody's box, but it was in mine, and I loved it. And so I have a picture from Ava.
Yeah.
That she drew. Is that for every box?
So no, unfortunately not.
Just for me.
Yeah, I did toss that in there for you. But here's what we do. So my daughter, Ava, she, again, without being forced, this is at 4 years old. I walk in on her, and I'm sorry to interrupt your unboxing real quick. This is just
no
a little
worries.
funny story. At 4 years old, we walk in. We had gotten our little play kitchen, right? And I come in, and she's cooking away. And I'm like, hey, Ava, what's going on? What are you cooking? And she's telling me a cheeseburger, this and this and this. And I say, oh yeah, what's your restaurant's name? And she goes, Dad, it's Broken Beans Kitchen. And I was like, whoa, easy does it. Like, I was like, oh, okay. So I went on Google that night, man, and I bought, brokenbeansrestaurant.com.
Look at you.
So she's had that. And if you go on brokenbeansrestaurant.com, you can see her drawings there. She does that. It's a fundraiser thing that she does. She charges $2 for those. They actually all go to this school. Terrell is her elementary school. And I think she's got like $700 some with just doing drawings for each of those.
Cow.
So, I mean, she's done over 300 drawings in the last year alone. And each one of those, and she tries to do something different. People will request stuff too. So she has a blast doing that, and she knows that her money's going to a good stuff, her school, and we're buying supplies with it as well. I'm going to actually, she doesn't know this, but we're going to buy like a big fake check, and, like a publisher clearinghouse check.
Right.
And I'm going to have video of her like taking this check down into the school. So I think that'll be really cool.
That's so awesome. I actually made a note to ask about VaJae turning into a little entrepreneur as well.
Yeah.
Following the steps of her father.
Yeah, she does restaurant stuff. She loves to cook. So we looked into like 5 or 6 different oven mitts. So I'll have to send you a pair of oven mitts. So
we need them because ours are actually pretty old. So that would be a used device in our house.
Yeah, no, she made her own, and she's got her stamp on it and everything. It's really cool. They're heavy duty silicone oven mitts, like quilted inside. It's super nice.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
So open the box, and the next thing that you notice is that every box comes in its own bag.
Yes, we're big on that, even if it's not an AGL disc.
So why do you do that?
Well,
why is that important?
So one, I mean, I myself have purchased discs, right? I'm a disc golfer.
Hmm.
You can look up my PDGA. I'm nothing special, that's why I tell when they see me all decked out in AGL gear and they're like, dude, are you sponsored? And I'm like, no, bro, I pay for all this. I sponsor the good folks.
I'm the same way.
But no, I think, it's funny, but ultimately, I've purchased discs and, even from other manufacturers, I've been in those shoes of that customer where, you get two discs and a bubble mailer with no bag and no cardboard backer, and the thing's like bent, scratched,
Oh
and
yeah.
you're like, man, this is horrible. So I just really try to put myself in the position of like, treat others the way you want to be treated. And if that's how I'd want to get a disc, and so we're big on that. I
That
think
sets you apart. Definitely.
huge. And also, like, if you think about how Gateway, because they do our manufacturing, if Gateway sends us stuff, they actually don't bag it. So it comes in a cardboard box. I've seen sometimes the cardboard box probably fell off a pallet or something like that. And, the corner smashed. I might have to take a couple out and put those with the X outs or something.
Hmm.
But the thing is that it's in a cardboard box. Cardboard gets dirty. So for me, I'm a little OCD. I think a lot of disc golfers, I don't know, are you putting that on a wall? Are you throwing that? So
Right.
I don't know, and I'm not here to judge. So at this point, I'd rather you feel 100% safe about pulling it out of the bag.
That's a perfect answer. I love it. I just wanted to hear it from you.
Yeah.
So the next thing that you notice in every bag, and you mentioned it just in passing, has a seed. Well, every disc is named after a tree,
Yes.
and every disc comes with a seed for that tree. Correct?
Yes. Yes. So if you had purchased that Manzanita, you would get a Manzanita tree seed, and or a Madrone, you'd get a Madrone tree seed, or whatever down the line.
So my plan with these discs is I opened a few to throw them to try them out, and I did not open two of them. I left them sealed, but unfortunately, I don't think I got the seeds in the right place anymore. So when I give them away, you may
I
get
can
the
tell
right
you,
seed.
I can tell you what seeds are what. I know by looking at them now. Yeah.
So the two that I'm going to be giving away with this episode, I'm going to be giving away two. Actually, I did not open those, so they should be fine.
Awesome.
Um, is this black ponderosa
Yeah.
and this clear-ish white sycamore.
Oh man. Yeah.
So that's going to be going to somebody who subscribes to the podcast, to the show, and who makes a comment about anything we talk about underneath the show.
Cool.
So I want to talk about the discs that I decided to put in my bag. And the first I want to talk about is the Manzanita. And I typically throw KC Pro AVRs. So it's a little bit different than what I'm used to because I usually
Yeah.
use a beaded putter. This is not a beaded
Yeah.
putter, but
Yeah.
it does have a slight thumb track around it. The
Hmm.
thing that I love about it so much is how grippy it is.
Yeah. I believe that's our hemp blend, if I'm not mistaken. Little black beads in it or dots, like kind of
Yes.
spread throughout it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's our hemp blend. So that's organic hemp mixed in at 15% hemp polymers. And yeah, it makes it a little bit more grippy, a little bit more durable, definitely eco-friendly. And keep in mind too, all of the plastic that we use is a post-consumer recycled goods. So I mean, like we are try to be eco-conscious, and that I think most of the manufacturers should be. Why aren't they?
Right.
It's insane. I've been talking with Jesse from Trash Panda quite
I
a
was
bit.
just going to ask.
Yeah, yeah, no, we're on the same page, and we might be collabing on something if all goes well. So, um,
Sweet.
yeah, yeah, stoked. He's a great dude. We talked
Oh,
for like
yeah.
an hour on the phone. It was nuts the first time. It was crazy. So, yeah, great dude, great dude.
Did you see his new disc that he just made out of just
Yeah,
trash from the course? It's
yeah,
actually
swirly.
beautiful.
Yeah, so cool looking. Awesome. It was that yellow, blacky, red swirly. Yeah, it was awesome.
So this one has a slight thumb track on it. And just the combination of that, it being super grippy. The first day I threw this or started trying to play around with this, I want to say it was like 36 degrees. And I noticed that it was, so much easier to hold and throw with cold hands. So I said, this is a keeper. It's staying in the bag, for those days it's really cold and you can't really feel your hands.
Yeah.
The second disc that I fell in love with is, you sent me two of them. It's the Magnolia.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And
So
this is the one I've been throwing.
that's the hemp mixed in with our premium plastic, which is our alpine plastic. So that's our premium alpine hemp blend.
This is the one I've been throwing, and this took over my favorite
Oh,
mid ranges. So I
yeah.
have replaced a couple other discs in my bag with this one.
Wow. That's
You got
huge.
5502. It's a great feeling mid range. And it just had that glide. It has that
Yeah.
glide there at the end of its
Yeah.
flight, and then it very every time that fade, very predictable fade there at the end,
Yep.
just light fade. So I really do love this disc. I haven't thrown this one yet.
So that's the woodland. I believe it might be a glow woodland. I don't know if it says glow on the inside of the rim.
Let's see.
Otherwise, it might just be a white one that looks kind of glowish. Sorry, it might be your light that's giving it that kind of hue.
It's definitely white. It looks like a glow, but I think I tried to charge it up, but
Oh, okay.
it didn't glow.
Okay. So it's a white one, and we did some white and some glow that are kind of an off-white. So apologies there, but
Yeah.
so that will break in to be a hyzer flipper, and that's still
Nice.
glide. Yeah, the woodland one with the rainbow stamp there. That'll break in to be a nice hyzer flipper. Glides for days. Both of them glide for days. They should probably have a 6 glide on them. They really do glide very far.
I love them. And I look forward to, like you said, beating that one in just a little bit and seeing if it gets flippy, a little flippy on
Yeah,
it.
it will.
The last one I decided to keep in my bag was the Locust.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
And 9-4, -1-3.
yeah.
The way I throw, I found it to be somewhere between a Firebird and a Thunderbird.
Okay.
That's where I found it to be. Just,
Yeah,
and then that's completely subjective in the way that I throw. But
understood.
it's a it fits nicely when I need something that's just in between those two in my bag. So those are the ones I'm keeping in my bag. You also include a sticker and a pencil in your box.
Correct. Every order.
So I just wanted everybody to kind of go through and talk a little bit with you about the discs and just the experience of opening the box.
Well, I appreciate it, Patrick, very much so. I'm glad you have some that made it to your bag. So that's huge. I appreciate that.
Well, now that I've fallen in love with those, I'm thinking about putting together just a full AGL bag, to be honest with you. So I've been known to do that.
We got our bags coming out soon. So I just dropped it was 54,000 something, on
Wow.
backpacks.
Holy
Yeah.
cow.
So we have backpacks, we have small bags. We got so much stuff in the works, man. It's crazy. I have 8,000 discs coming to me over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I saw
Um,
that. Good
it's
night.
it's insane, dude. I just set up the stamp machine earlier this morning, and I'm just trying to get ready so this weekend I can really start cranking out as many stamps as possible. But I think the cool thing, and I don't mean disrespect to Gateway, I love them obviously, but and I think there's obviously a system to it too. When they're doing a certain amount of discs, it's time, and they're paying guys, not just one guy, but guys, hourly wages. So when they're doing these 100 order of this stamp and 100 order of this stamp, they might not give me as many foil variations as I might like, or you might like, or all the people might like. um, so I either have to kind of give them a little elbow, a little elbow jab, or one of the other opportunities was to buy this large machine and be able to do it myself. So I'm really excited, and Sam and I have been talking because now that we have the control on stamping, I'll be able to, for every 100 discs of those magnolias that you just showed me, even if it's just the one style of that hemp alpine, I can do 100 of those discs, but have 10 of this foil and 10 of this foil and 10 of this foil. and then we can put those up on the website and actually, kind of quarantine them. I'm just joking, actually, but keep them separate in regards to color and foil. Whereas right now, it's kind of like, hey, you go on, you buy a hemp alpine, you might not get the foil color you wanted black, and I might not have it, or you want black, gold, or silver, and I didn't have any of those three. I only had red. So it sucks sometimes not having the ability to do that. And I can have stuff in limbo that's blank, and like, hey, we need red. Oh, well, let me bust 10 out, and I'll stamp 10 with red. So I think that control and that versatility is going to really be another thing that pushes. And the fact that the trickle down of that is that it gives the customers more options on the end user. That's going to be great. So it serves so many different purposes of us doing that, and it saved us a little bit of money per disc. So that's great. And I'm trying to, obviously, with this prices went up. It's kind of funny that me getting this machine kind of just brought my disc price back down to last year's disc price. So I might even drop our prices maybe $1. I'm not 100%. It depends on how good I get on stamping that machine. If it takes me forever to stamp the machines, and I'm that's the biggest concern of mine. I think I can get it. I've done quite a bit already, but I told Dave and Danger Dave out in Gateway, I was like, hey, if I'm having like super duper trouble, I might have to pay for you guys to fly your butts out here and stamp some for me, which I hope to not do. But I mean, it's just worst case scenario. I like to plan for the worst. So it's been a wild ride, man. And I'm very thankful for Gateway. I'm glad we've had this amazing relationship, and I've been able to help them. I've helped them quite a bit in a lot of aspects, and not just buying this from them. I'm talking like organization and stuff like that in regards to Shopify and website stuff. So I love helping Gateway. I want to make them do better because they can help me be better, and then we can help everybody else be better and grow the sport, more. So, Gateway owner Dave McCormick, he's even himself has self-admittedly said that he's not the best at marketing, and it's like, hey, I understand that I'm not the best at marketing, but that's why I said earlier, I'm good at finding people that are good at that, and let's make them great at that. And Sam was already great at that, so Sam was amazing. We lucked out, just kind of us bumping into each other, and it turned into a great partnership that it's now going on 3 years, I think, with Sam. So it's been awesome.
And actually, Dave's name has been mentioned. I want to say this is the third show he's been mentioned on. Yeah. So I got to get him on the podcast. I tried to I drop a hint to him, because when I put out a thing that said, hey, who do you want to hear? Gateway's at Gateway said Nico LaCastro. So I said, well, I'm assuming this is Dave, because they have a relationship. Isn't that his uncle?
Yes. Yeah.
So
Dave McCormick is.
So I said, okay, done. How about Dave McCormick?
Yeah.
No reply.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He does that. Sometimes text message. I'm like, what's up, Dave?
So maybe one day we'll get him on the show. But two things about your stamping, because that's a good segue. The first thing is that I did not mention, but I meant to mention, is that the stamps are beautiful on the discs. And I don't know what it is about what's been done differently, but the quality just seems better. I don't know if it's plastic or what, but even my buddy who the first time I took these discs out, they said, man, I love those stamps too. And they just look quality.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it takes having a great graphic design team. Now even a Facebook, we have a AGL art department group of just all these different people who not only support the brand, but we also want to support it as well. And, I send out die packs to these dyers, and I'm nothing but I'll try out a new graphic designer. Hey man, you want to try doing this for me, and shoot me what you think is an idea. We might not even use it. But you know what? I'll pay him for his time. That's another thing, like my dad taught me, is that everybody's time is valuable. Whether or not you're just, tubing out on the couch and watching Netflix, you still value that time. That time is important to you. So I've definitely appreciated everybody, and all the people that put in their time to help AGL. And I think it's kind of like raising a kid, the old takes a village kind of quote. I think that rings true to anything. Like a business is a child. We're trying to grow this sport. We're also trying to grow this business and grow the sport through the business. So I think, it takes all of us working together. And that's probably a good segue into like my sponsorship side, where, I get asked every day about, hey, can I be sponsored by AGL? I'd love for you to send me some free stuff and I'll do a review on it. And it's like, hey man, if I was to do that, I wouldn't be sitting here being AGL Discs anymore. So I mean, we're not in the a spot and position, financially even to give out as much as some of the big guys or big dogs do. So, I would love to. I tell people all the time, I'd love to say yes, 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 but I think being realistic and pragmatic is the best way to go.
Oh,
So I'm like,
absolutely.
let's work together. A sponsorship should be a symbiotic, mutual relationship, and where I help you, you help me, and let's help each other grow something great. So I think that's what's so cool about our community and our fan page. There's no negativity on there. It's one of the most positive fan groups I'm in, and I'm not even saying that because it's mine. It's just it's just because, like, man, it's such good people in there, and that's not even just the team. That's the group that has like come in, and they all like support each other, even when it's like, hey, I got eighth on this tournament. It's like, dude, great job, man. That's you probably crushed what I could have done. That's for dang sure. So,
Right.
hats off to you. So I think that, like, appreciating everybody and their time and their commitment and that passion that we all have for this sport, and I think people see that, and I see that, and I want to appreciate that as well. So.
Your philosophy with sponsorships is actually very similar to Keith from Birdie Fuel, the old
Okay, yeah.
symbiosis kind of thing. I talked to him a couple episodes ago, but yeah,
So,
it's yeah. When you're talking, I was like reliving some of the parts of the conversation I had with him.
yeah,
But yeah, so
yeah,
your stamps they look great. And that brings us into the segue that I was talking about with the stamp customization and the Simback
yeah.
program. Tell us about that a little bit, and then we can talk about the possibility of a Zen disc golf stamp appearing
Yeah,
in
I'm
stock.
excited. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. So I ready. I want to do one. So ultimately, what we started to realize is that when we got these small machines, it was honestly something for fun, and it was I like to touch the hot stove before I learn something. So I had this big machine that we had just paid for, but it was going to be a couple months before I got it. So I did some research, and I found a little company in Chico, California, that they can get these little mini hot stamp with spring loaded and really nice ones. A couple of the other ones I've seen on Amazon don't have this or have this. So he found me these really nice ones. We have two right now, and he's actually we're trying. I'm helping him out now. I'm kind of trying to consult for him. But anyways, that's a whole nother story. But what we started doing is with these small machines, we can make these little 2-inch or 3-inch dies, and rather quickly, and we can change them out rather quickly, as opposed to the bigger machine. It takes a little bit more work, takes a little bit more time to switch out the die and put in a new logo,
Mhm.
or stamp. So the small machines, I can do it rather quickly. The bottom stamp one is a little tougher because it's super small, and I gotta like get up in there. So I have to kind of let that one cool down. But there's one of the small machines that I can do, and change out the dies super duper fast. And I've done some videos. I don't know, maybe if you've seen them on Facebook. Um, and we started doing a couple of different dies, and we had maybe 3 or 4 to start with, and now I have like over 70. It's crazy. So we have one for each of the our pro or alpine team members. So we have, it says AGL Discs and their last name and their PDJ number and tour series on it. So that's cool. And then we have ones like, what you and I've been talking about, and we've done some for like Wicked Aces and Team Focus Disc Golf or Chain Bang Disc Golf. And then what we do now is we'll keep that die on file. And, someone like yourself could go on our website and order, that Ponderosa or that Sycamore, and add a chain bang stamp to it, or add a Wicked Aces stamp to it, or add both stamps to that one disc. So on the converse, and to answer your question in regards to the send back program, is you don't even have to buy a disc from AGL. You could have your favorite Innova Destroyer or your favorite Prodigy, F2, whatever it is, and you want to send it to us and have us stamp it because that's your baby, and you want to have it in your bag, but you want to still support AGL. I'm fine with that. You can slap an AGL disc on there, or you're on the Team Focus stamp. You're out in Myrtle Beach, Florida. They want a little Team Focus stamp. So what we did was we made a product which is $0. It's completely free. It's a $0 product. You can go on agldisc.com, you type in send back, and it's a zero product or dollar product. But what it is it's configured for one disc shipping. So your Destroyer or your F2, whatever, you want to send it to us, you got to go down to your post office. You pay, send it to our AGL Disc headquarters. The address is on the website on that product as well. And then you go on our website and you buy one send back, and you could pick the chain bang, you could pick the Wicked Aces, the Team Focus, the Zen Disc Golf. You can add that on there. And we even give all the different foil colors. So I think we have 20 some different foil colors. That purple crackle, or the red crackle, or rainbow crackle, or just regular rainbow even. Like there's so many. So you can pick whatever color foil you want for that chain bang. And the Wicked Aces, maybe you want silver or something. So you get to pick those. And I have this order that's in front of me, and it's number 5001 or whatever. And it says send back, and it has 2 or 3 or 1 stamp on it. And you think that was $0, but it figured in your shipping, which one disc might be $4 for shipping back to you.
Sure.
And you pay the $4 or $5 for the stamp cost. So all in all, you're paying less than $10 right there for your favorite disc to be sent back to you after being stamped. The other, I guess you paid a little bit more if you go down, you have to go down to your post office to pay to ship it. But hey, again, you're having your favorite disc stamped with whatever, customized stamp you want. And I'm think, with your Zen Disc Golf, I think you have a lot of people who support you, and they may want to add, Zen Disc Golf to their favorite Wizard or their favorite AVR. And add that on the top, add that on the side. We could put it, they could put in the notes, hey, could you put it at the 1 o'clock position, or the 2 o'clock or 6 o'clock, whatever you want. I had a guy,
cool. Yeah.
He had to do all the hours on the clock, and he turned it into a clock. So I'm down to do whatever and try my best and have fun with it. Some folks are like, dude, do whatever, free reign. So that's fun too. But I think what we're trying to do, and someone even said it was like AGL is the most customizable disc golf company out there, and I was like, oh, I'll take it. That's
I agree.
awesome. Well, we're really here to try to cater to you guys, our customers, our fans, our family, our players. So that's why I was stamping over 40 stamps today at the warehouse, and we didn't even do 10 orders. That, like, half the people that pay for a stamp, you're usually getting hooked up. I mean, especially if I had a little dropout or something like that, I'll give you a little extra. Because that's just how we do it. And I think, you having even a hair of a dropout, people are still stoked about it because they know that it was personalized. It's that hand touch. It's unique. It's for sure unique at that point. It's half the time it looks like it was just thrown. It was just thrown and it got a little scratch in it or something like that. But I'm honest. I'll tell you, I'm still learning. I'm not the best at stamping yet. Hunter Hot Stamp and Danger Dave at Gateway, those guys are amazing at hot stamping, and I long to be in their, in the levels of their greatness. But I'm just kind of getting started. So I'm doing my best, kind of more plain solid colors. They'll go multicolors and do the T this color, the E this color, the A this color, and the M this color.
Wow.
Like, it's insane to be able to do that. So I'm excited for the learning aspect as well of that growth side for me learning the machines and how to stamp. So that's been fun. I like getting a challenge.
Yeah, and I'm definitely excited to see the stamps on my disc, but also on other people's discs, like you just said. Just seeing that
Yeah.
Zen Disc Golf flying is going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, you'll walk up at your local course and you're playing around with some buddies, and next thing you know, like around the basket, and it's like AGL, 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 AGL. Like, dude, that's such a cool feeling. And you're gonna see, and it's Zen,
Oh,
Zen, Zen.
yep.
Like, man, that's such a cool feeling to see and to be a part of, and to know that you have something that's so unique and personalized that nobody else has out there too. So that's really cool. And I think that we're all a little sentimental as disc golfers. I think we all are.
Collectors as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. Speaking of collections, what would you say your biggest, most popular disc is with AGL?
Oh, so that's a toughie. So sales will actually tell you it's our Madrone. Unfortunately, the Madrone is definitely the number one sales, percentage wise. It's our number one selling putter. It's actually like the brother of that Manzanita that you have. It's like the beaded brother, same exact top with the thumb track,
Mhm.
except a beaded bottom. It's actually Gateway's Voodoo bottom, where that Manzanita that you have is the Warlock bottom.
Okay.
So we had the top is the thumb track is ours, and then the bottom is one of the other. And that was actually our first little, dipping our toes in the water introduction with Gateway. I was about to throw in the towel after Daredevil, and that might be one of the other most sought after discs is the Cypress. It was our first run disc. It was our first disc that we like really started manufacturing, and we were working with Daredevil, and we did one run in blue as our first run. We did 1,000 of those. There were maybe about 50 blank that I signed and numbered as well. Um, Actually, there was more than that blank. There's 50 that I signed and numbered. Then there was 50 blank as well. So there's 100 blank total. But then there was 950 that got stamped. So then they did a white run after there were some issues with the mold. So we retooled the mold. They did a white run. There was only 500 made it to production. And then we did a pink run. 1,000 of those made it to production. Jake Hunter at Hunter Hot Stamp did the stamps for the white and the pink. And Daredevil did all black stamps for the first run, blue ones. Those right now I've been seeing on some of the swaps and the meets and stuff for like 50 to 75 bucks. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
Yeah, I was kicking myself in the foot because I was like, man, if only I just saved a box or something, it'd
Yeah.
be like Bitcoin right now. uh, so I think, that one's definitely sought after. But behind that, I think the Magnolia, that's probably our other top seller. It does phenomenally well. There's more aces with the Magnolia than any other mold.
Wow.
Specifically, the Amy Lewis Magnolia. She is our one of our top touring pros. She's been with us for a long time. We gave her first Tour Series disc last year, where she, wanted a couple, thousandths of a millimeter deeper. She wanted a certain plastic. She wanted a certain, flex to it. So we catered to that, and we did a
Wow.
special run just for her. We did, I think, 250 or so of those last year, maybe 200 with her stamp on it. So there's a couple actually floating around without her stamp. They got AGL stamps on them. And then this year we tried to bust out, I think, 350 or 400. So there's a couple I have that are like misstamps that we're waiting to release because they're almost sold out. But those discs are probably the other top, like sought after AGL mold is the Amy Lewis mag. And I think everybody really, really likes that mag. It's a lot more domey. You think that one has glide? Bro, this one will
Wow.
glide like for days. So that one's really cool. And then what's fun is working with companies like Infinite Disc now and OTB, and then I'll ask them, hey guys, how's it going? What's doing best for you? And you know, Infinite Disc was like the Ponderosa is our best seller with AGL, and I said, wow, that's great, cool. So I got to make more Ponderosas. So
Hmm.
Dave, what's up? And then OTB, they actually collaborated with us on the Baobab. I had no
That's the one I was
plans
going
of.
to ask about, but I
Okay.
didn't knew I wouldn't be able to pronounce it correctly. the baobab.
Well, yeah, other people say baobab, baobab. I say baobab because that's what my Google enunciation said, but that's AI, so that could be wrong too. I don't know. Here's the funny part is I wrote it wrong like 5 different ways on the website because it kept coming up in the like number one things customers search for but can't find report. So I was what? So I had to write it like wrong and put the hashtag in under the each one. So that was fun.
That's funny. That's where
Yeah.
you got those computer skills. There's website and design skills
Oh
coming
man, yeah,
in.
it was lots of fun. But that disc I had no plans of making. It was not in the scheme or the realm or plan for AGL. Sam came down and we met at Sam's birthday. I think it was last year, up in Sacramento, and it was before everything hit with the pandemic. And he shows me this disc, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's a little funky looking, right? And he's like, oh, OTB discs, Danny Corbett, they were thinking about doing this, but they didn't want to do it themselves. They sell a lot of other discs, so maybe we work together and we put it out under AGL. And I was like, oh, okay, I would love to work with OTB. OTB's great. So and Sam and Danny were pretty close, are still close, and yeah, next thing you know, I'm talking with Dave, and I said, sure, if we can put it out under AGL. I really hadn't even thrown the thing. And next thing you know, it got approved, and I finally had thrown it. And I'm a forehand guy after breaking my shoulder, so I only forehand because then it's just really all on my forearm and my wrist. Um,
Dust disc flickers.
yeah, exactly. That's where it came from. No joke, no joke. And even Dave Feldberg at one point, when he first saw the Cypress, he was staying at my house for like St. Jude's back in 2015, 16 maybe.
Wow.
Um, he was seeing the disc and he felt it too. He was sponsored by Lat and he couldn't, be seen throwing it or talking about it. Now it doesn't really matter, but we had a good conversation about it recently, and he was like, "Man, you got to change the name." He even said it back then, but he wasn't the biggest fan of the way that I curved the Cypress, which I think was really unique. I don't have a disc on me right now. We're in the office, but so I curved where the flight plate meets the edge of the rim is usually almost perpendicular, almost right. I tilted the Cypress out like pretty dang far. And the reason why I did that is because when I throw forehand, I don't put my fingers in that power, that power kind of grip like that. I'll put them in where one finger's kind of on the edge of the rim and my middle finger is actually on the rim. I
Okay.
used to box and I have some pretty dang strong hands. So when I just, it felt so natural when I did that. And we made a 3D mold and all these different designs when I was creating the Cypress. And everyone was like, dude, this is so weird. It's not like any disc golf disc. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why, it's developed its own little cult following, the baby blue Cypress. It's amazing. It's so different. It's the most overstable thing you've probably ever thrown in your life. It says 12 speed on it, but it throws probably like a 10 speed. But it's like a 10, maybe 2, 3 glide, 0, 4
Yep.
is what the number should be. It's a dumper. But I think we had stamped on it 12503. That was what we were going for. But it just ended up, even the production of it, it just came out and it was so beefy, so beefy. So, and you live and you learn. And I think that was one of the hardest blows I had to take as a business owner of like, you're dropping $14,000 on this mold, and then, $7, $8 a disc plus shipping, to get it down to me. And your 1,000 discs, that's a lot of money. It's
Yeah.
a whole lot of money, and that was a huge risk at that point when disc golf wasn't even skyrocketing like it is now. So you're taking a huge risk where it was hard to tap into the West Coast market. So I had to learn the hard way and figure out, like, I made some mistakes, and Gateway, us coming together, that partnership was incredible, and it helped reignite that passion and that fuel to keep going and to, realize like, hey, not everybody can do what we did, and try and fail and keep going. So, we have the ability. Let's keep going. People still are supporting it. Let's not let them down. So I think it's been that group and that community, the core team members. We have people that they're not even really part of the sponsor team, because I just call them core team, because they've been with us for so long. They don't even care about getting free anything. They just really want to support AGL because they love the passion behind us, and they want to support it because they want the sport to grow. People like Faith Green and Rob Green. You should get Faith Green on here too. She's huge.
Okay.
She's amazing, and she does a lot for her community, and they helped design the course, Black Mouse course, and their family has just done so much. I think they're known all around the Bay Area here, the Greens. So I mean, they're a huge, they're family to us. Like Ava loves Faith tremendously. So and
I'd
Jeff,
love to have her on. I'll reach out to her.
yeah, Jeff
work.
Wind too. Reach out to Jeff Wind. He's a famous graphic designer. He's been doing designs for stamps for discs since like before Ava was born. So
Nice.
and he's a high school teacher, local Bay Area high school teacher, but he just loves to draw, and he's very creative, and he's become a family friend, and we love working with him. And then Ryan Coster too. He's our graphic designer who does all of those beautiful stamps that you see. He does all of our stock stamps, like the really clean, professional stuff. Like that's Ryan, and I love working with Ryan. He's just can take your ideas, and I can't draw a stick figure to save my life. He'd have like one leg shorter than the other, and it's just, and Ryan though, he can take your ideas and put it on paper and then on the computer and make it usable. And it's just I love working with folks that they're all passionate about what they do. They love doing it, they love being a part of it, and obviously I compensate them for their time because I value their time. So then we have a great relationship. So you can't be mad at that. And
Definitely.
I'm definitely thankful. So I appreciate it.
Definitely. Well, Josh, it's been a great conversation, and
brother.
I appreciate everything that you're doing. I have become a fan quickly of AGL and look forward to doing more and more business with you. There will be a Zen Disc Golf stamp coming out that you'll be, I guess, pressing on some discs over there. Just want to let the listeners know. And I'll put out more information whenever that becomes available through you.
Yes, sir.
But definitely want to have everybody, if you haven't thrown an AGL disc, do yourself a favor, go get one. Get one of the ones we talked about on the show today, one that fits whatever you need in your bag. We did an unboxing of several different types. But other than that, Josh, you want to send them to the website?
Yeah. I mean, agldisc.com. You can go to the Instagram as well. On our Instagram bio, which is still AGL Discs. But in the Instagram bio, there's a link tree, and that has all of the different things that we're doing right now. You can get a link to Ava's website. You can get some of her oven mitts. You could get one of her drawings or support her school. We're doing a lot of different stuff right now. There's a link to the guys who do all the dies for us, because we're just an open book. We want to make sure that everything that you guys are asking us for, we want to make sure it's available, and that you guys get everything you need. So yeah, just don't hesitate. We're reachable. The phone number that you see on the business line, that goes to me, folks. So yeah, anytime, don't hesitate, please.
Well, Josh, I already value the relationship that you and I have developed over the past couple of months. So I can bet we'll be doing some business here in the future as well. And I really wish you and your family and your business just skyrockets and just becomes this great thing that it should be.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that tremendously.
Yep.
Truly. Thank you.
Friends, I hope you enjoyed this podcast as much as I did. If you'd like to check out AGL Discs, I have a discount code for you for 15% off at the AGL Warehouse store online. That's huge. For more Zen Disc Golf, head on over to zendiscgolf.com for more podcasts, books by yours truly, and ultra cool line of apparel. All these items help me keep this show going and keep it growing. So if you like the show, also please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and share it with your friends. And until next time, keep on throwing.